retired from hunting. It was that of a father. I call him my ideological father, and it continues now as an ancestor. I have a very close relationship with him, which I think is very important. And I think it's important for what we're doing here today, because I think Cheikh Anta Diop needs to be that kind of ancestor for a lot of young people here. He's the brother who just picked me up. Yeah, why are you way back there? Some people, would you feel comfortable sitting in this first thing here? Somebody? Come on. Please, come closer to me. It makes me feel better. People like this young brother, Ogundira, need to see Diop as this ancestral advisor, because he's got a lot to teach. Having said that, I hope that we're going to have a lot of time for discussion. I have a lot that I want to say, but I think that it should be kind of that relaxed, informal, serious, because we can be relaxed and serious at the same time, that kind of feeling and the work that we do. And I would like, I think that the symposium is an excellent idea. We need to do more of this where we intensely study and focus on a particular one of our ancestors or some that are here. Like I was recently at FAMU, where there was a 2-day conference on the work of Kofi Kambon. And I tell you, it was incredibly powerful. But we need to do that. There are some people in Philadelphia who are talking about doing something on the 28th. That's going to happen? Okay. But that's going to be on the work of Amos Wilson. You see, and so what we need to do is to use this work that's been given to us. Which leads me into Diop. I wish I could write on the board. As a teacher, Baba Baruti knows. I mean, that's what you do, okay? So pretend I'm doing that. And I want to say, Ebunu, Ji, Isi, Eje, Ogu. Ebunu, Ji, Isi, Eje, Ogu. Anybody speak Igbo? No. Okay. The Yoruba speaker. Where's Dira? Can you a little Igbo? No.
3 words.
Okay. That translates into brave ram who fights with his head. Brave ram who fights with his head in the Igbo language. Anybody know where it comes from? Yeah, but where does that saying come from? Because we need to give credit. I like to do that whenever I work. That's a hint. Always give credit for where you get your concepts and ideas. You've heard of Ife Amadiume? You need to, okay? She has a book called African Matriarchal Foundations. Thank you, Baba. However, she has also written which you should be familiar with, actually, the introduction to one of the editions of Cultural Unity. Okay, the one that was published by Karnak. So this jumped out at me, and that's what she refers to him as a praise name, as a phrase. Again, Ebunu Ji Isi Eje Ogu, brave ram who fights with his head. Cheikh Anta Diop, I'm saying, is a visionary. Now, we don't always think of him in terms of being a visionary. And I think that's because he considered his work to be what he called rationalization. Obviously, he's using that in a very different way than we use it. English-speaking people use it. But this was because he was a scientist at heart. And he looked for the hard evidence. And we tend to think also in terms of an opposition between the imagination on the one hand, that is, seeing what isn't there. I talk to the children about that. And then on the other hand, the scientific method, or a movement from, or what they call the scientific method, movement from the hypothetical to the demonstrable. You see these two things being very, very different kinds of activities. And even with the visionary, the imagination, the intuition. Intuition very much has to be a part of science, very much. And I think that little bit Aikwe in eloquence is getting at that, the place of intuition, although he may not call it that. Okay, it's a very interesting book, by the way, Eloquence of the Scribes by Aikwe Armah. But he does refer to the ancestral voices, you see, which puts us in a different realm from what Western European science would be. Diop brings all this together. They come together in him, and actually in any good scientist. I want you all young people who are studying science to be thinking of that. Vision needs necessarily creativity, and Diop was creative, while at the same time looking at the hard evidence. You see, they are not, I'm saying they're not antithetical. Very interesting. That's what makes him so interesting. He was looking to set forth an argument based in evidence that supports his vision. That's what all of his work was about. So we're going to look at what was that vision and just touch on, which I'm sure other people have done and will do, how he supported that. He grounds his view of the future, which is the vision, in the reality, that is, of making sense of the past, connecting the past to the present. For him, that's extremely important. And so these two thrusts in his work, the vision of an African future and his scientific work, what he calls his rationalization. I shouldn't even use that word. It probably loses a lot in the translation, right? Okay, so we have to do our own translations. But these two come together in his ideological commitment, which comes from his love for African people and the quest for African self-determination. He's looking at how can we manifest African power. And like all visionaries, Diop was able to see in our story the seeds of Pan-African potential. And that's what seeds are. They are potential. They are the energy of potential. And yet he knew that in order to realize that potential, we would have to believe in African power. That, I submit to you, is our biggest challenge. Believing in our power. To do that, that is to become believers, we would need, in his view, or we know that we need, an historical consciousness. Now, this is something that Nana John Henrik Clarke worked to achieve in our people. The absolute critical importance for a group of people, to be a people, to have an historical consciousness. Again, when we think in terms of the ma'afa, the term that I'm using for, forcible disconnection, that is its achievement.